Hello and good day, everyone. Thank you for joining me for my weekly live streaming and live coding on the Uno platform. My name is Jérôme Laban. I'm the CTO of the Uno platform open source project. You can find us on GitHub. You can also find us on Discord if you have questions, or on Twitter, or directly on GitHub if you have questions. We have the discussions open there. I spend the time, about an hour every week, looking at issues that are found on the Uno platform that people have been discussing, or that we found during our internal QAs, or through discussions on GitHub, like we're going to do today. I spent a bit of time at the beginning trying to look at issues and news that have been passing through the week, and a few updates. So in the past few weeks, we've been releasing Uno 3.9. The response has been pretty great with the additions that we made in this target. Added to that, we've been working on many things WebAssembly. But before we start going that route, I'm going to talk about one thing that we did recently that was released pretty soon. Oh, hey, greetings from Germany. Hi, Wolf. And from Jordan. Well, people from all over the world. Thanks for watching. So one thing that happened last Friday, I think, was the newest updates of the design for the Nuget gallery. And there's one new thing that happened to be added there. It's the Open in Nuget Package Explorer. And what that does is that when you're visiting the nuget.org sites, if you want to take a look at what's inside that package, you have two ways to do that. Either you use the Nuget Package Explorer that you have installed on your machine. So we'll probably have it there. It's an application that you can have installed from the Windows Store, but you can also now use the Open in Nuget Package Explorer, which is an application that we developed on top of the application that already exists, and allows you in the browser to navigate the file and look at what's inside. So for instance, here we have the Newtonsoft Nuget package. You can see all sorts of things like the publisher and symbols and compiler flags and other things that are of interest for that specific package. That's like the commit that we use to build that, but also a way to look at the files that are inside, like the license or the package. You can see the content and then look at binaries like the XML comments file. You can browse here. This part uses the Monaco editor to show you the content with nice syntax coloring for XML and many other file formats, but also the viewing of DLLs. So we're talking about getting access to the strong names, company configuration, and configuration copyright and others, the referenced assemblies. So that one is particularly useful if you want to debug your Nuget packages. You also have PDB informations like the defines that have been used there. So this is particularly interesting if you want to be able to recompile the assembly using the exact same flags using the source that was at that commit. So that's particularly interesting. And this is used actually with the deterministic build. So all of this allows you to have the exact same binary that was built from source, from that source that's specified here. You can see PDB metadata references and timestamps and all the technical details about that, and also getting access to the actual source code that was used to build that assembly. So if you want to see the source for the BSON token, you can go and get access to that file specifically and browse its content. So that's pretty amazing tool. So it allows you to browse many of the Nuget packages that are available through Nuget, and it's right in your browser. It's also available as a PWA, so you can run it as if it were a local application. Yeah, give it a look. It's and if you have any feedback or anything like that, just open an issue at the Nuget Package Explorer site, a repository on GitHub, and we'll take a look. So that's for the Nuget Package Explorer. Last week, I took a look at SQLite for .NET 5 and 6. And if you take a look at the stream, hey Angelo from Brazil. So I took a look at the SQLite for .NET 5, and this is an application that you can browse the source for, but the idea is that it's an application that runs your SQLite database inside of the browser, and that uses Entity Framework 4, Entity Framework Core 6 inside of your browser, and you can manipulate the database. And this is a piece of code that's compiled using Roslyn. And from Colombia, wow, we got a lot of people today. Thanks for joining. So if you have any questions during the stream, please ask away. The Roslyn compiler is going to be compiling all this, and then when I click the execute button, all this gets compiled using the C# compiler locally. And you can see here that I had run that application a bit before, and then there's already modifications that have been made, and it'll manipulate a database that's in memory. So one thing that is interesting that was actually not working last week when we were looking at that. There's a way to see the actual commands that are executed to render this. So you can uncomment the enable logging, and when you execute this, the logs for this are actually placed in here. And you can see here that the commands that were sent to SQLite are shown here. So we can see here that it does something with SQLite master and looks up for the tables, I guess, and then inserts into blogs values, inserts blog and blog URL, and then selects the results, and also does something with a blog ID here, select. So it selects, so that's probably the last statement here, which enumerates the number of blogs that are in the database. So that's the application that's available here. It's something that you can use in your application if you want. And the news was it wasn't working before, and now it is. So you can use that in your applications running inside of the browser in the same way that you can do with other targets like iOS, Android, and others. So that's it. So let's move to something else. So on Twitter today, or actually I think it probably was today, someone was mentioning something from a thread that was talking about the Uno calculator. And the Uno calculator is our application that we've been developing. It's been quite a while now. It's the Windows calculator that we ported over to WebAssembly, iOS, and Android, and macOS and Linux. And it's the same application that is on the official one. So now it has a bit divergent. It's probably something that we're going to do at some point because it's been so 2 years ago we converted that over to C#, and the Microsoft team for the calculator actually ported over to C# on their own the UI part of the calculator. So that means that most of the stuff that we did doing that port to get the application running there, we could be reusing as is from the original one. So that's probably something that we'll do at some point to align everything to be the same one. And we've implemented lots of new features inside of Uno, like support for calendars, which are not present here but are available in the original calculator. So, and the question that was posted on Twitter is the fact that in the normal calculator, you can do something like this. You can do 2 + 2, and then you go here and then you paste and do enter, and you're going to get the result. So, I mean, actually, you probably can paste equal, I think. Let's say if I do something like this. Yeah, so you can see that if you paste an expression from here into the calculator, then the result is going to be shown immediately because you pasted the results, and then it's going to be doing the right thing when you get there. So it's something that the original calculator support, but if you go to the website and then you paste something, it doesn't do anything. So as it's the original, it actually is the original source code that comes from Microsoft. That means that most of the support for the clipboard is in the application, but the problem was that at the time when we developed the application, in 2 years ago, the clipboard support for WebAssembly was not there for Uno, and now we do have that support. So we may be able to implement that feature to paste the expression from the clipboard down to the application and see where that goes. So I don't know where that is. We're gonna try to find that one out. when looking at the source code. So the first thing to do is to try to build the application and see if that works. So far it looks like it is. So let's try to run the application. So I pre-built it so that it goes a bit faster. And let's see if the application runs properly. Looks like it does. Okay, so I'm running from the latest master of the application. I've selected the calculator.wasm head here, and it's just running using the latest or a very, a quite current version of Uno. So it's a 3.9 dev 83, so it's not too far away. And now what we're going to try to do, a greeting from Spain, Bull T. Welcome. So we're going to try to find out where the clipboard is. So I don't know too much about the sources from there. So we're going to try to find, let's say, clipboard, just searching for clipboard stuff. Okay, so quite a few things that are available for clipboard. So we have clipboard, copy paste manager. That one is nice. Copy paste manager, which does not implemented exception. So it has a string to paste not implemented as well. So that means that we have this to implement, which was not implemented, was not copied over when we did the original application. And we have the get string to paste as a string that does the same thing, which is not implemented here. So we're going to implement this. The good thing is that most of the code that we have here is likely to have been implemented already when running from the original application. So we're going to take a look at the original application and try to do exactly the same thing that was done there. So we're going to take a look at the last version of the application to see if that has been converted to C#. And if it has not, then we're going to try to go and figure that one out by going back into previous versions. Okay, so let's try to see if there's a copy paste manager somewhere in the Microsoft calculator. Yes, there is. Okay, so there's a copy paste manager. There have been tests for that one. It looks like there were a few things for copying to clipboard, but we can try to find that one out. Okay, so let's see. Copy paste manager. Okay, so that one is actually quite large. Oh, that's the test. That's why it's big. Okay, so let's look at the other one. Okay, so we have a, oh, that's actually quite large. Okay, so what we can see is that we have the copy to clipboard here. That is a feature that was implemented here. So it's actually code that we can take exactly like this and copy paste, even though it's in C#, but it looks like something that we can have a behavior that looks the same. Same thing for the get copy, the get string to paste. So we can get the clipboard content and then do a lot of things with the converting string async and all of that. So that's pretty nice. And same thing is has string to paste is a pretty nice one. So we could probably copy all that code and see where that goes. So one of the things that is interesting is to understand if we actually do something like Control-C or Control-V, does it do something? And it doesn't look like it's doing something. So maybe we're going to have to do something different. And if that's the case, we're going to have to take a look at the commands there to see if we have string to paste. So we have the paste command here. So that's called from the paste. And what we do we have there? If I go back again. So we have the standard calculator view model. So let's use that one first. So it's on the paste command. We're able to go and get some things about the clipboard. Okay. And where is that calling called from? So it's called from standard calculator here from the paste command. So it looks like we have a paste command. So there's probably a button somewhere in the UI that does the paste, maybe. So we have a paste command here. Where's that one coming from? Let's try to find where that paste command is used in the UI. There's a command here that's bound through an X bind on the main page. And it's available through a stack panel that is collapsed. And that is coming from, let's see, Visual State Manager, convert wide. So I don't know where that comes from. Copy paste target, they're not shown. Okay, so the buttons are here for copy paste commands. So they're not shown, I need to have command and shortcut assigned to them. Okay, so they're assigned as shortcuts using accelerators. Okay, so that may be something that we can't do yet, but probably you're going to have to add support for that. And the good thing is that we have Martin that's been working on how to get the support for keys and accelerators and things like that. But what we are going to do for now, because we don't have a accelerator support yet, and Martin has been working on adding a control something keys support, and we're gonna add that. But before that, what we're gonna do is maybe just handle keys. So let's say if you press the V command, the V key on the keyboard, we're going to try to invoke the copy command instead. And I can see that there's something else that is available. So it's available here. It's called from here, but there was another call that was done before that on the paste command. So if I take a look at the location for the invocation for the paste command, there was a second one that was an application view model, and it's done on the paste command as well, but that one is called from, oh, same thing. Okay, so it's called from the paste command here. Okay, so it's called always the same location. So it's always the paste command that's done at that location. So we're gonna be altering that one to do the actual copy and paste. So the first thing that we can try is look at the key bindings to handle the, let's say, the V command to see if it actually does something. So there was, let's say, if we search key down, where do we have key down? So we have key down here. We have the keyboard shortcut manager. I don't know if that one does something. So we have target key press. So that one's probably not available yet. Maybe we do have support for that. That I don't know. We have calculator buttons, which do have their keys handled properly. And we have a calculation result here with the on key down that is used to do scrolling left, up and down. Okay, left and right. It's not particularly useful. So let's take a look at that one. Let's see if it's initialized somehow. Okay, so keyboard shortcut manager is initialized here. It's initialized from the main page, so it looks like it would do something correctly. We have the on key down target. Okay, so we have the key press here. On key press, it goes to converter, calculator, depending on the mode. Okay. Okay, so that looks good for now. I'm just gonna make sure that we're actually going through from that specific code. So we're just gonna add a write line there to say core window key down and log that key just to make sure. So that would be e dot, it's probably going to be virtual key or something. Is it key? There it is, key. Okay, so let's try to build that again and see if that helps. So if it takes a bit more time, I'm going to disable the linker. We'll see. So by the way, question is, by the way, is it hard to implement async commands? Not really. The problem is that what do you do with this async commands? I mean, the way UWP and WinUI works is that everything runs on the UI thread. So if you get invoked from the command, when your I command implementation gets invoked, you have to do an async command. Now the problem is that what do you do when your command is actually invoked? You know, let's say for the sake of the example that your command, when you're executing it, it takes 5 seconds to execute. What do you do during that 5 seconds UI-wise? Do you disable the button until the actual command is executed. But if you do, that means that you have to handle the fact that it may never finish. So you may need to have a cancel button somewhere that tells you, okay, or timeout or something like that, that cancels the command. But now let's say that you don't disable the button, that when you click the button, maybe then what happens if the user presses the button twice? Do you launch the command twice, or do you use it? Do you cancel the first one and continue with the second one? Or do you keep both active? But if you do keep both active, then if the user presses too many times on the button, it may just overload your server. So it may be a problem. So the best way to handle that kind of stuff is to have a framework that does it for you, and that handles the fact that the command is going to be configurable in a way that if you click something, then the button is going to be, or anything that's hooked onto it. It may not be a button, it could be something else. That the command is going to be behaving properly, and the execution of the command afterwards is going to be behaving properly if it encounters race conditions. So that's one of the things. So is it hard? No, if you want to bind something, but then when you execute something, it can become pretty complex. Okay, so what we can see here is that when we press the keys, it works. And when we do Control V, we have Control, then V. Okay, so that works. So I'm used to bind async methods to the UI element in Blazor, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Even in Blazor, you have the same problem. I mean, if you're binding a command, yes, it executes, but you have to do something while the command is executing. You have to do something with the UI. Otherwise, you're going to end up with the same problem of commands being executed multiple times. So that's the kind of things that needs to be managed properly. Okay, so the interesting thing is that now we have the control button, and you can see that when I keep the button control pressed, I'm getting hammered with control commands that are getting up. So what I could do is for now, so it's down and it stays down. So if I press, so it actually repeats. So it's not really I keep the key down. You know, it has to be a bit different. Okay, so but now we're going to say that V is going to be pasting for now, because the control is not doing what it's supposed to do until what Martin is going to be doing. Or we could do, if the control command was pressed, let's say half a second ago or something like that, then it's good enough. Because you see, when I do control then V, then the repeat stops. Okay, so that could be something of interest, but let's try it for now. So I'm just going to be disabling the linker for now, so that the build goes a bit faster. Maybe I had that at some point. No, it's not there. Okay, so I probably should be adding something like that in the bootstrapper. No, it's not there. So if we go Uno, then bootstrap, we get the linker configuration here, somewhere there. That tells you how to disable the linker. There we have the wasm shell linker enabled, so you can go there and add that at the top, or close to the top, and let's say false. So that's going to be a bit faster. So now what we want to do is to say that if you press the V key, then we're going to actually do something. So for now, we're going to hijack the key down for now and see if that works properly, and then we can determine what we need to do afterwards to get the rest working properly. So if the key is if the key is V, then we're going to try to read the keyboard, so and see if Martin's work has been successful enough. So that's the type of code that we want to validate. So let's we want to use, and then we're going to be pasting that somewhere. So we get validate paste expression, Probably something that we won't do for now. We're not going to be validating anything. Maybe something that we want to paste afterwards, but for now, let's just copy the content and let the we're going to go and implement the clipboard manager instead. So we had what was the name of the method? It was get string to paste. Get string to paste. And copy paste manager. Okay. So for now, we don't need anything. We're just going to be calling that right away without any of the parameters being used. But that's going to do just fine. So if we take the C# code, the C++ code, and paste it here. So it's not C#, so Rosin has a bit of a headache to get that working. So we got the clipboard, and we're just going to C#ify everything. So in here, we have a create async, which probably we don't need that much. And then we're going to be calling that data package. We're going to be returning. So that's a dot, and then get text async. So, so that's interesting. So IntelliCode is trying to guess what I want to add, but that's definitely not what I want to add. So the text that we want is actually text here. So we had standard data formats. It's probably something that I need to add there. So data transfer, there you go. And then I get a string here as a result. Probably need to await that because we're in an async method, and I can remove all of this because it's not that useful. Now let's see if the compiler is a bit more happy with this. So probably not, because I remove a bit too much. Okay. So text async is supposed to be returning a string, which we can await. And the method is not marked as async. So we need to mark that as async, and that should be enough. And now get text to async is not implemented, so it's probably not implemented on Android, but let's see in WebAssembly if it is. I think it is. May not have been. So let's go take a look at what's there, and maybe there's a magic PR from Martin that has that implemented. We'll see. So let's see for WebAssembly, is it there? Not implemented for WebAssembly. Oh wait, so it may not be available. So it's the pasting that it's the copy to the clipboard, but not from the clipboard. So let's see. Probably something that we can add support for somehow. So let's go to Uno and see if we have that. Get text async. So we got data transfer manager for WebAssembly. So it looks like it is implemented somehow. So we have the show share UI package view. So no, that one is probably an implementation of the share UI. So it's probably not exactly what we're looking for, because it's for the share UI. It's not for the copy and the clipboard. So with a clipboard for iOS that's implemented. We got a clipboard for WASM. So WASM has that as well. Get text async. Set clipboard text. No, it looks like it is implemented somehow. Okay, let's try it, because sometimes it's just that we haven't removed the attribute that says if something is implemented or not. So maybe it's not tagged properly, and we need to adjust that. So let's actually try that properly and see if that works. So we're going to go to the copy paste manager from the application model. No, that was not that one. So it was in, oh, there it was. It was in here. The copy paste manager. So that method is not async. So I'm going to put it async for now. That's going to help. It's not the right way to do it, but let's do it. And then in here, the method that we wanted is called get string to paste. And we don't need most of the parameters, so we're going to be ignoring most of those. So let's say mode. So mode was view mode. So we get the view mode again. Okay, oh, there it is. It's just IntelliSense taking a bit more time to give me the results. So let's say none for now. None, and then second parameter is going to be IntelliSense is having some trouble there with the navigation that I'm doing. So we got the category type here. What's that one for? Category group type. None as well, for now at least, and 0. And that was wow, my Visual Studio is really slow there. All of a sudden, it was good. It was doing great from the beginning, and then really slow. Okay, so 3 parameters. Okay, so the bit length we don't need. Okay, and then let's do. I'm gonna await that, and we're gonna see if we can get a string from it. And then we're gonna write that down. Wow, it's really slow. What's happening? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all the other heads for now. Maybe that's what it's causing a bit of trouble. So let's unload those. Maybe that's going to help. Okay, so get string to paste. Still here. No argument to bit length type. Oh, get two parameters. Okay. And then we're going to write the board content. And see if that works. I think I'm going to close Visual Studio and try to open it again. There's something that makes it slow to crawl. Okay, let's do that. It's going to be easier for everyone. It's not necessarily the machine that takes a bit of time, but no, let's see. Okay, it's better. Okay, so we have that, and then all the content that we needed. Okay, so let's build this and see if we have the clipboard content coming up. And if we do, then we're going to be able to redirect that to whatever infrastructure that's there in the application and paste the results at the right place. Okay, so now the build is happening, so that's good. So now it's just mscripted that's running at the back. It's not the linker, so it should go a bit faster. Let's see. I don't know if the application is actually running using. Ah, I see. It's using AOT a little bit. Okay, so it's probably not that useful. That's why it's using Clang and others. Probably should have removed that so that we use the interpreter instead. So let's cancel that for now. So the application is using the AOT because it's running it's running using the mscripten version for Windows. So it's something that was not available before, and I did not notice that when starting the application. So now it's going to be building using only the interpreter and mscripten just to link the native part of the calculator. Yeah. So, well, that's the why is the Visual Studio a little bit buggy? I don't know. It's something that I hope Microsoft is going to be able to fix, because it's something that happens as soon as you do cross targeting. So in that case, you have multiple targets that multiple platforms that use the same target files, and in that context, the problem is that Visual Studio is behaving a bit erratically. And I hope that all the cross-targeting that the .NET team is doing for iOS, Android, macOS, and others is going to help stabilize that scenario. Yeah, I feel the kind of issues that you're seeing, and that's something that I hope Microsoft have been doing. I actually have an opened issue about that one. I probably should be able to look it up, but you can probably upvote it to say that you're having the same issue. I'm going to be trying to find it out so we can Visual Studio Community, I think it's called. I never remember the name. So my feedback, probably take the URL like that. Okay. So I'm not logged in here, but I'm going to be copy pasting the URL for that one. Okay. So the application is now built properly. And we are going to take a look at what let's say we have our expression here. So I just copied it to the clipboard. And now if I press V, what happens? Okay, so it's not implemented. That's that's something that makes sense. So we have the get text async that doesn't give the result here. That's probably not that useful. I thought we did, because with the quick lookup that we did here, it looked like we had something that did the get text async, but that's probably for setting content, not getting the text when you're getting the content from. So get content. So we have get clipboard text. We have get text here, or it's something that we implemented very. It's probably because maybe I do have another version. Let's see. I can probably update Uno there and see if it's something that we updated recently, because we're doing get content from get data package view, and maybe it's something that was fixed recently. So let's see. I have let's go to the latest builds of Uno. Let's go to 3.10. That'll do. And see if it's actually implemented. So I don't recall which version that was implemented in. You probably looked that one up. So it had history here. So it was part of that specific commit. So it was implemented for many of those, but maybe not on WebAssembly. Okay, so we have. So it's supposed to be happening. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at what that does when we do the update. And if not, that means that somehow we did something wrong, because we're supposed to be having something that's called get clipboard text, and get text here that's supposed to be getting us the text that's in the clipboard, but it's not working. So I'm trying to find that. Trying to find this out. So one of the things that we can do to determine if something is implemented or not is to take a look at the actual binaries in the resulting application. So we can see here the application has been built, and in the debug folder, we're going to search for Uno. I think it's Uno.uwp. So we're going to search for the Uno. Just Uno here, and we're going to open that with ILSpy. So let's see if actually we do get something from the clipboard. So if I copy that again, okay, F12 is not working anymore. They changed the they changed the shortcut for that one. Probably some alignment somewhere, but it's annoying for the muscle memory. Okay. Okay, so still not implemented in get text async. So probably do have something else that's not working there. So we could try to find in the uno.ui.js, there's a method that's called get text. Oh, well, there it is, the first one. So we have get text, nav clipboard, read text. The clipboard is available. And it's supposed to be there. So we're probably not using the right API to read the content of the clipboard. So maybe it's not get text. So if we look at the, no, not Control-Shift-I. Okay, so it's not working here. Let's see. If I take a look at the error, so if I look at the error for the V, we had get text async specifically for data package view. So we need to find another location for that one. So let's see. If we get to Uno, we get the clipboard. So on clipboard specifically, we have a get content, and we set the provider for text, and we do get text, and then we do get view. So we should be getting that one, and for some reason, the package that we're building is not allowing us to get the text. So maybe it could be that the method that we're using is not implemented, but maybe it's the get text async that's not there. Maybe we need to use another method, maybe get content or something else. So let's see. So we're looking at data package view. So data package view, and we have get text async. Ah, that's the one with a parameter that's not there. So that's interesting. So we have get data. Okay, so let's change that one. So instead of using the get text with this one, which is not supported, we can use that one instead. And that one is not having the squigglies, which is good. So that one is actually implemented here. So let's try again. Let's try this again. So let's see during the build if I can find the issue that I had. Ah, there it is. So that's the kind of issues that I have. So I'm gonna paste it in the chat, but it's an issue that I've been having and trying to reproduce for quite a bit. And if you have some time, if you vote it, that's going to help. I'm actually the only one reporting it, so it's not getting prioritized that much. But if more people do avoid it, that's going to help. Okay, there you go. So that's one of the side effects of all of this being slow. If you have an application that's you're running there, oh, it looks like I'm frozen somehow. Okay, looks like I'm frozen. That's a problem. Okay, we can probably try to do something about it, but well, let's see if I can do something about it. Maybe not. Okay, looks like the camera has been behaving. Well, no, it doesn't work. Okay. Okay. Maybe it will start again. Oh, there it is. It worked. Okay, so chroma cam, you can reset the camera while it's running, and it looks like OBS is not complaining too much, which is good. Okay, so now if we go back to the application, and then we go to the, I need to change that one. Okay, so if I do press V, Oh, look at that. Okay, so now I do have a prompt that asks me if I want to be able to paste the content from the clipboard. We can say yes, allow, and well, the content of the clipboard wasn't there, but now I do have actually the the clipboard content that I had just before, which is the one that I just pasted in the chat. Okay, so that is good. So that means that now we can go and take a look at how to propagate that over to the right location. So the get string to paste was invoked from, let's go take a look at the calculator source already. Get string to paste, copy paste manager, unit converter. So standard calculator view model. So I have to invoke the onPaste command specifically. Okay, so that I can do. So instead of getting the content as I was doing like this, I'm just gonna get the copy paste command directly. So I'll need to go and piggyback directly into the application and call that command. So I was in the application view model. I think I was maybe at the top, I don't remember. So where was that file? That's the copy paste manager. So the shortcut manager here. And I have the target on key press, which is the application view model, and there's probably a command there that I can use to paste the content. So let's see. So I have the string here. So if it's the copy paste command, so instead of the rest, I can do target dot. There's probably going to be on paste command. I think it was. Was there one? I think there was. Let's see what the navigation says. It's trying to find it. Yes, there it is. Okay, so we have the paste command, so it's going to be redirecting itself to the right location. So we're going to say null for now because there's an object parameter, but we're not using it. Oh, there actually. Well, actually, we do use it. I don't know what for. What do we use it for? Parameter. We're not using the parameter. Okay, so no parameter use. So let's put it to. Let's not put it to null, but let's put it to something like a new object for now. Okay, so that is working. So now we can discard that because it's not going to be used anyways. And then now if we navigate a bit, we go to the paste command, then on the paste command for the calculator view model, depending on what we're getting there. And then we have the copy paste manager gets string to paste, and then we get to onPaste, and then that's the code that was supposed to be used to do some pasting. Okay, so that works. Now let's launch the app again and see where that goes. So on the other issues that I opened, there's another one that I opened that was close to the one that you were describing. That where when you're doing something in the UI, then it takes a bit of time to just do something, but I can't find it yet. But the one that we're looking at is one that's the one that I sent is the one that needs to be fixed in many ways because it's getting slow. You know, when you open a large solution, that's where at the top all of this gets slow. We're talking about Visual Studio 2022. It's better in that version than it was in 2019, but it's still not good enough. So yeah, if that gets fixed, it's going to help a lot. Okay, so let's see what now. So we have this, and so I had to change the visibility of the paste command. We did not use it, so it was not referenced from the outside. But now it is, so we should be able to do something interesting with it. Oh, it looks like I started with the debugger. I don't want that because it's not particularly useful for that one. Let's run the app without. Okay, so if I go to, actually, let's use it directly. So if I have 2, 3, and I press V, nothing. Okay, so so there's something else to look at. Okay, so now if I go to the developer tools, what do I see? Okay, so I have hash string to paste. So the copy paste manager is something that's doing something interesting, that's useful. Okay, so we need to implement hash string to paste as well. Okay, so that one is in here. So that we can remove because it's doing what we needed. And in the copy paste manager, we need to have the hash string to paste, and that one was implemented on the C++ side. So let's go to that one. So hash string to paste was implemented here. So I don't know if that one was going to be implemented. So let's say get content contains text. So that I don't know if it's implemented. I'm going to put it there, but I would not be surprised if Martin skipped that one when implemented the get content feature. So let's go take a look at what that, if it actually is implemented. So text format text. So if we go to the sources here, we have, so the method to find was contains. So is contains implemented? It looks like it is. So data contains key format ID. Okay, so it looks like it is. So that should be good enough. So the other one for now, for the copy to clipboard, we don't need it. But we should be able to move forward and have our content pasted properly. So you can see that pop-up that shows up. It's a command that comes from the Uno bootstrapper, and there's some command line that needs to be executed that pops up a window. I'm going to have to figure that one out and remove that window because it's annoying. It flashes and not particularly useful. Okay. So now I do have something to clipboard again. And if I press the V key, still not doing anything. So probably going to still having another exception that shows up. So at this point, no, there was nothing. Oh, there it is. It showed up. Okay, so it didn't work for the first paste, but it worked for the others. So that's interesting. Or maybe the focus wasn't there. Could be that as well. Okay, so we have some. Okay, let's try again. So if I refresh the application. Oh, yeah, 5 key is overridden, of course. Okay, so if I'm not doing anything and I'm not focusing the application, if I press the V key, what happens? Okay, so it doesn't work on the first try, but if I press V again, okay, so I clicked in the surface and then the focus got there and it started working. Okay, so if I paste something more interesting, with different actually. Okay, so it's still 2 plus 3. Okay, it's not taking the newer content. That's interesting. Oh, okay, so that would be that the X is not something that is used as a multiplication. So if I use the star instead, that would be a good reason. Okay, so star is not interpreted as an X. An X is not interpreted as a multiplication. Okay, so that's good. That works. Okay, so we have the paste implemented now in that one. The only thing that we don't have is the fact that we need to press the Control C to make it work, but it's not implemented properly yet in Uno. But it's something that we have a pull request for. So we're going to be able to say to get the actual Control key and say when there's a V pressed, do we have the Control key pressed as well? So it's something that we're going to be able to do. And let's say we're going to do the reverse, which is going to be pasting that one. We're going to do the reverse. So the result. So if, let's say, I press the B key, maybe not B because it's an hexadecimal one. So let's say I press the R key for some reason, for some example. So if I go there, so copy to clipboard, we're going to get the implementation from WinUI, so the WinUI, the Windows version of it. So that one would be get string to paste, copy to clipboard. So that's the one that we want. Copy to clipboard, and then we go back to here, and then in the copy to clipboard here we paste some C++ in the editor, and it doesn't like it that much, and that's fine. So let's C#ify all this. So dots here and there. There you go. So string to copy is that one. And that's it. So now we're going to have to go and find what triggers the copy to clipboard, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it manually. So we're going to intercept the T key, for instance, or R key, which remember which one I told you about. And we're going to do this the same way. So we have the onCopy command that is supposed to be called the same way from the onCopy command here. It's not something that we can't manage yet from the shortcut manager. So we're going to do the same thing that we did here. We're going to use the T key, and we're going to do the onCopy command. And is that one accessible? It may not be the same way that the other was that. So the question is the goal of the Windows calculator by Uno platform to clone the calculator one by one? Yes, it is. And the reason it might not work properly is that I skipped this method, which is the validate paste expression. And I'm pretty sure that method is going to be converting all that kind of stuff. So if we take a look below validate paste here, you have translations and equal signs and operands and all sorts of stuff that are done here that needs to be ported to make it work like the pasting would do correctly. So yes, it's definitely, we didn't port that code because we couldn't implement the copy pasting. We didn't, because we didn't have the feature that were needed to do that. But once we port all of that code here, then we're going to get copy and paste the same way that the Windows calculator does it. So with the conversion of the operands in the same way. I'm pretty sure we can find something with the X and something like that. You got unwanted characters, operands, and pretty sure we can find the X somewhere in there. I don't know where it is, but it's probably somewhere in there. So, but yeah, it's definitely we need to convert that code over to C# so that it behaves the same way. So now to finish, so the copy command, same thing, is not a public method. So if we go back here, so when we do press the T key, we're going to copy the result, and we're going to see if that works. So we need to have a few things available. So for the copy and paste, for the pasting specifically, we need a conversion method that's not ported over yet. That needs to be adjusting the input so that it fits properly for what the calculator expects. And same thing for the copying. We need to do, we need to handle the the control key so that the control C and V keys are handled properly. In the right way should be to have the chords implemented properly for buttons. So let's say you have an accelerator specifically on a button, then the button should be handling it properly, but that's not the case yet. Something that we'll do now that we have the keyboard support with those keys there. Okay, so if I do this, for instance, and I press the T key, do I have my content copied? Yes, I do. So there it is. So now we have the copy and pasting working in and out from the application, from the application, so that we're going to enhance the experience to get it working. So once that works, it's going to be working on all targets that do support the copy and pasting. So that means Linux and WebAssembly, iOS, and others, which are pretty nice to have. So for the pasting on iOS, I don't know how that's going to work though, because there's no key for pasting at that location. I'm actually wondering how that's done. So I know that's on Windows, if you're touching the screen. Actually, I do have a touch screen there. Oh, I can't move it there. So if you do have a touch screen, it pops up something with kind of a paste pop-up menu. So it probably is implemented that way. But I would think that if you're doing it using a catalyst or another target like this, then it's going to work pretty well. Okay, so that's it. We've moved forward for implementing the Uno calculator copy and pasting results from and to the calculator. So that was fun. So I was hoping there would have been time to implement something else for today, but it's probably going to be for next week about the WebView stuff. But that's pretty nice. So I hope it was enlightening and as interesting as it was for you, for me. And I hope to see you next week. Until then, happy coding, and give me a follow on Twitch if you're watching live. Till then, see you then. Bye.